Hey guys, Chris here. Today we're doing a very interesting challenge. We're going to try to go from Oslo to Bergen, from the biggest to the second biggest city here in Norway, all the way from the east coast to the west coast across a mountain pass of more than 1,500 meters elevation without a single charge. That is correct, guys. We're going to charge to 100% here, and we're going to try to get to Bergen without charging once on the way. And what better car than a big, large, 3-ton electric SUV with 21-inch to do the challenge. We're currently in the Mercedes EQS SUV 580 4MATIC, which may not be the best car to do this challenge, but at the same time, this is quite an efficient electric car for being this size of vehicle. It's a lot more efficient than something like the new Audi Q8 e-tron, and maybe an EQS sedan would have been better, but this is what Mercedes had on a loan for me. And also, I was planning on taking this on a European trip, so apologies Mercedes, but I think this is still going to be a very cool challenge. I'm going to try to do a European trip in August, but it didn't fit with scheduling. I had to change things last second. So again, apologies to Mercedes, but hopefully if I'm able to do this, you guys are gonna like this video, because this isn't possible in a lot of electric cars. This has one of the biggest batteries in any electric car, and also the usable capacity is like almost 110 kilowatt hours. So if we can have decent weather on our way, 16.5 degrees Celsius outside now, and we don't encounter rain or any bad weather, we may just be able to do this. So before we set off, I'm going to show you guys, we are using the route planner here just to show you, well, what it looks like. So 447 kilometers, and we're done charging in 15 minutes. And let's see what the car is telling us. Is it telling us we're going to be able to do it? Because it hasn't added a charging stop. Look at that, guys. Look at that. So if we take a look here, you can see that the car is telling us that we have 490 kilometers of range now with this state of charge. Okay, this is super interesting. So along the way, guys, I'm going to update you. We're going to do an update a few hours into the trip. We're going to do an update halfway. And hopefully, when we're halfway, we know if we're going to be able to stop. But the interesting thing, or be able to do this trip without stopping. But the interesting thing is that halfway, we're almost at that top elevation, a place called Geilo, right in between Oslo and Bergen. And we may have high consumption up until that point, but because we are at more than 12 or 1,300 meters then, we're gonna get a lot of energy going down to sea level. So guys, this is gonna be a super interesting trip, super interesting challenge, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now Oscar Mike, and we've been on a road for almost an hour, 53 minutes, and take a look at that consumption, guys. 18.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That is pretty darn insane. We're also climbing to an elevation. I don't know how high we are now above sea level, but I'm guessing a few hundred meters. We're not at sea level. We've climbed and then we've dropped down again, and then I think we're steadily going to climb now. I don't think this car has, you know, an altimeter where it tells you how, well, many meters you are over sea level, above sea level. But okay, check this out, guys. 403 kilometers until our destination. And according to the car, we're going to ride her just before 10 in the evening tonight. And the car is saying we have 464 kilometers of range. That is completely insane. That is such insaneness. We've driven 60 kilometers already. That puts this car at over 500 kilometers of real world range on Norwegian country roads. And the key is here, Norwegian country roads, 18, 19, 20 degrees Celsius outside now, dry roads. And check it out this, our average speed, 67 kilometers an hour. So not the fastest. I mean, we don't have a very high average speed. It's fine enough. Maybe if we're lucky, that speed is going to climb to around 70, maybe 73 kilometers an hour in average speed. We've had a little bit of traffic outside of Oslo. But still, guys, 18.7 kilowatt hours, 18.6 now kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. I'm hoping that that's going to stabilize under 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, but if we keep on going now, it may be as low as 19 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers for the whole trip. So I'm just going to continue on now. I'm about 2 hours away from Geilo. I'll give you guys an update once we get there. In Geilo, and we're almost halfway to our destination. So we have 244 kilometers left to go, as you guys can see there, and we've covered 205 kilometers. So almost halfway. Consumption now has risen to 21.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and we have 57% stated charge left. And as you guys can see there, 307 kilometers of range left, which gives us a buffer of about 60 kilometers. But because we are at 1,200 meters, we have higher consumption now than what we will have later on in this video and on this trip. So once we get down to sea level again, I'm guessing the consumption is going to drop down to 18.5 to 19.0 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is what we have had. Once we get to our highest point, we're going to do another update, and we're going to see what battery percentage we are at and what the consumption is. And then about 20-30 kilometers later, when we're down at sea level, we're going to see how much battery we have gained. That is pretty cool, because we're going to actually gain battery from the highest point to the lowest point in region. Usually this is a place where I like to stop and charge, because I go into the gas station over there, get something to eat, get something to drink, and usually it is very, very full. But there's actually one charger vacant over there, and I think those two over there are full. There's an Alpatronics hypercharger over there with two chargers or two connectors. And if I were to charge here, I would be using today's video sponsor, Elton, which is the most awesome charging app if you live in the Nordic countries, Norway, Sweden, Finland, or Denmark. A super easy app with one charging interface, one map, and it will show you the speeds of chargers, availability, vacancy, and also queue time if there are queues at these chargers. And it will let you charge with one payment method at almost all charge point operators in all of these countries. It's pretty awesome and a very easy charging app to use if you live in any of these countries. So check the link in the description box down below to download it. Okay guys, as you can see to the right here, that sign said that we're starting the decline. So let's take a note of the consumption: 22.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and also 43% state of charge. We're gonna hit the bottom in about 30 or 40 kilometers, I think. This is, I feel it is around about here in about 50 kilometers. So but I think we do hit the bottom maybe in 40 kilometers. So you can see the nature here is just spectacular over Hardangervidda before we start our descent. Looking to the left and then looking over to the right. I mean, the nature here is just spectacular, especially in summer. It just looks like a barren wasteland, like nothing I've seen other places in Norway. It's just spectacular. 28 kilometers later, and we're basically down to sea level. You can see the fjord here on the map is the fjord behind those trees. And just take a second to just let this sink in. This nature is so freaking beautiful. Hope you guys have been enjoying the B-roll, but coming back to Western Norway, it's such a breathtaking place. Like anywhere in Western Norway, it's so beautiful. Just take a look in there. Just take a look at that, guys. Wow. And especially with this beautiful, beautiful weather. But okay, guys, after 28 kilometers, we're now up to 47% stated charge. So we've gotten 4% of battery. Let's just zoom in a little bit. 4% of battery. Look at that, 47%. And we're now down to 18.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So let's do the last stretch now, and I'll catch up with you once we get to Bergen. We're going to get there with no problem on a single charge, which is just Amazing. Just amazing, guys. After a little more than 6 hours on the road, we are here at our hotel in Bergen. And yeah, we did it. We did it, guys. We managed to drive from Oslo to Bergen without charging a single time. I stopped several times to buy drinks, to get something to eat. I could have charged, but we didn't have to. And that is just amazing. So I'm going to turn around the camera now so you guys can see the actual numbers here. So 447 kilometers, 19.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and we arrived here with 14% stated charge and 78 kilometers of range left. That is just outright impressive. You know, when I was planning taking the trip over to Bergen with this car, I'm like, maybe I can do it without having to charge. And that being said, we started a little bit outside of Oslo. I live about, so what happened is that when I started to drive, actually after I filmed the intro, I forgot something at home. So I had to go home and then I had to start from home and reset everything. So that means I actually started with 98% stated charge, and I drove maybe 5 kilometers, no, a few kilometers extra. 2 kilometers it was supposed to be. So we actually would arrive there with 16% if I started where I was supposed to start. And also, just a caveat, I live about 15 kilometers outside of Oslo. So if we deduct that and subtract that and add that all up, we're still arriving here with more than 10% battery, which is amazing because we're now in downtown Bergen. So I'm amazed by this car. I'm amazed by getting the consumption below 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. I didn't think that was possible in such a big car like this. And also we had some rainy weather before we approached Bergen, so everything wasn't all sunshine or a dance on roses. So guys, let me know what you think down below. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.